All right. Hope you guys are all doing well. Okay. We're just gonna kind of do the thing that we always do and kind of go back. So today's class is going to be about supply and demand. Okay. Yesterday, you guys saw we ended up practicing and adding together our support and resistance levels. We also added in our channels. And on top of that, we also added in our candlesticks. Okay. We used all of that in a bigger time frame, we ended up actually being pretty successful. But you guys remembered how when we started back testing and we did these smaller time frames like the 5 and 15, we were losing money consistently. Okay. So today we're gonna add another factor on top of that to hopefully help us take better trades. Okay. Supply and demand. Okay. So in today's class, we are going to be kind of going over multiple different things here, starting with zones. Okay, the mechanics. How does it actually work? Supply and demand. Then we're going to be going into actually how we draw them. Okay, a lot of problems there with people drawing zones that are too big, stuff like that. How do we validate the zones? Okay, and then how do we actually take trades based off of those? Okay, for everyone that missed the other classes, we can kind of go back here. You guys can see we did support and resistance in the last class. The class before that, we did market structure and trend analysis, going over higher highs, higher lows, how to draw channels, things like that. Before that, we also went over candlesticks, and we also helped you pick a broker, and hopefully you opened up a demo account. Okay. And in the first class, we also went over the different commodities and stuff like that that you can trade. Okay. So that's just a general recap. Give me one sec here. Let me fix something. Okay, sorry about that. So once again, I'm going to go into supply and demand today. And then tomorrow's class will be us actually setting up paper trading and how do we actually look at how we're performing. Okay. So we're going to be looking into journaling, things like that on how we can actually improve trading because you're going to start applying all of these skills that you learned, but then you actually have to back test and be able to see, okay, how am I performing and how do you actually do that effectively? Because that's going to put you ahead. And that's something that I wish I knew whenever I had started trading is I wish I had journaled my trades and I wish I had taken it a little bit more seriously. Okay. With that being said, let's go and get started. First thing is supply and demand. Okay. A lot of people ask, and this is going to be the first question. What is the difference? Okay. What is the difference between supply and demand and your support and resistance? Okay. Should be the first question that you guys ask whenever you're trading this. Okay. And for you to understand the difference, first thing we have to talk about is, okay, what is support and resistance? Support and resistance is what price did in the past and how it reacted at a level. Okay. In supply and demand, we're still applying that same thinking of, okay, it did something in the past, it's going to do it again. But this time, instead of a level, we're doing a zone. Okay. And I will show you why this matters in a minute. But when we have a zone, what ends up happening is we get more time to think than we do when we're at a level. Because when we're at a level, you have to make a decision pretty fast. But when we're at a zone, you put together blocks and pieces of price action, okay, to see what happens at that zone. Okay. The other thing we have to understand before we fully get into supply and demand is equilibrium. Okay, I might have completely butchered this, but we have to understand equilibrium in the market, and we also need to understand imbalance. Okay, this might sound like scary terms, but I will try my best to break this down. So, what is equilibrium? Okay, let's kind of talk about that for a minute. Equilibrium is, think of it like a seesaw. Okay, if there is the same amount of weight, then it stays stagnant and it doesn't really move. Okay, but if we get too much weight on one side, what happens to this? Right? We end up tiptoeing to the other side. Okay. This is the same thing that the market does. Okay. This and imbalance is what's going to drive your price action. At the end of the day, Equilibrium is going to be how we end up holding price, okay, and it balances out. And then imbalance is going to be wherever buyers and sellers cannot come in on time, okay? So imbalance happens when buyers or sellers take control to one side, okay? And the equilibrium happens when it's on both sides. So whenever you guys see a choppy market, okay, this is equilibrium because it's actually they have found technically the fair value for that stock, okay? And it is actually healthy, even though we hate trading the price action, it's very healthy, okay? Whenever we see a stock trend down or up, okay, that's imbalance. Okay, and you guys are going to see this whenever we look at candlesticks very well, and we're going to start identifying these as well. Okay, any questions here on equilibriums, imbalances, things like that? Okay, so we're going to go straight to the chart here, and we're going to start by drawing our support and resistance levels. Once again, we showed you guys the top-down analysis yesterday. We're going to take this block of data, we're going to draw the top, and we are going to draw the bottom. Okay, I'm just going to call this the bottom for this example. So we have our top and we've found our bottom. Okay, and you guys are going to have homework, by the way, by the end of this class. Okay, so we found our top and bottom. Now we need to do our support and resistance zones. Okay, we're going to do the top-down analysis right here. Looks like we have a good level right around maybe here. Looks like we have a good level right around here. Looks like we have a good level right around here. Looks like we have a good level. Okay, and this is pretty fair and this is pretty common support and resistance. The problem here becomes how do we know which pockets are really strong and really weak, right? Because this level is the same as this level is the same as this is the same as this the same as this. Okay, so all we're doing is we're playing from one level to another, but you guys saw yesterday how you guys got faked out a lot. Okay, and the way we can fix this is with supply and demand. Okay, a demand zone, okay, is technically going to be your support zone. So you're always going to draw demand zones below the price. A supply zone is always going to be a resistance. Okay, so we have to identify that if we're drawing at the bottom, this becomes a demand zone. If we're drawing at the top, this becomes a supply zone. Okay, make sure you kind of write that down before we continue here. Okay, now let's kind of take a look at Tesla here and let's kind of remove all of our drawings and let's just look at this general area. Okay, let's kind of break down where price happened. I want you guys to kind of, play this with me as well. Okay, price came down, it sold off, it popped a little, and then it sold off really aggressively. Okay, then we had this choppy price action right here. Okay, and then we get this big push up. And then price comes right back down again, big move down again. Okay, and then price chops around again. Okay, where could we have taken the best trades? That's kind of what you have to ask yourself here. Right? And the best place for us to take trades would have been right here and right here. Why? Because that's where price action dropped the most and the fastest, which is something that you guys can see. Okay, so let's kind of take a look at an example here of what this chart would look like with supply and demand, and then we'll go into how to draw them. Okay, so I'm going to draw this first, and then I'll have you guys kind of look at it afterwards. Okay, so we have supply and demand here, and then you would just pair this up once again with your support or resistance levels. Okay, when we look at this looks very confusing because we have a zone at the top, we have a zone at the bottom. Okay, there's a lot going on here now. Okay, we're not going to incorporate channels yet. We will add that as we go. But just for right now, what do we see? Okay, we see price came up here and it sold off very aggressively. We see price came up here again, it sold off very aggressively. Okay, we saw price come up here, it sold off very aggressively. Remember what we talked about. Okay, imbalance and equilibrium. I'm just going to do EQ. Okay. Let's look for imbalance. Okay. When the market sells off very aggressively, what do you think happens to the psychology of these traders? Well, everybody that wasn't able to get in here, okay, they're saying, oh, because these people that were buying here, they're saying, oh, this was a fair price, right? And they ended up missing out on the trade because it might have moved too fast for them. So what ends up happening is for the market to balance out because once again, this is an imbalance. Okay, just by us looking at this chart, this becomes an imbalance. This is an imbalance because there's heavy selling only to one side, which is the downside. Okay, there's not really any buyers coming in here. Okay, so this makes an imbalance because there's only sellers. Okay, so for there, once again, we have to balance out the weight. Okay, so right now the weight looks like this. Okay, there's a lot of eggs in one basket, there's not a lot of eggs in the other. But then price comes back up, and guess what it does? This whole move, okay, the price ends up filling from here all the way up to here. Price ends up filling this imbalance. You guys see that? Okay, this is what a lot of traders don't talk about and a lot of traders don't look at. This right here would be an imbalance play. Okay, long as your technicals are good, you can actually make a lot of money doing trades like this. Once again, okay? Now, where did market find equilibrium? Can anybody tell me? Okay, once again, equilibrium just means that we have found a quote unquote fair price. Okay, can somebody tell me where does price here on this chart find equilibrium? Between demand and supply chain. Okay, yes. So between these two zones, you guys see how choppy it is. Now, once again, yes, we're on a bigger time frame. We wouldn't technically count this as chop because we are getting very good movement. But you guys see how we're not able to really make market structure. Okay, well, we're just kind of all over the place. Price action looks like this. Okay, this is equilibrium. Okay, this is imbalance. This is equilibrium. Okay. Once again, we're kind of following the market cycle here. And going back to supply and demand, you see exactly how we went from here to here really fast. And then you see how we went from here to here really fast. And then you see how we went from here to here really fast. Okay. Do you notice that in your support and resistance zones? You won't. Okay. Because when you're trading support resistance, you're looking to go from this level to this level to the next level, or this level back down to this level. Okay. You're getting this movement when you could be getting this movement. Okay. Which one would you guys rather have? Would you rather catch this $10 move or would you rather catch this $50 move? Okay. I think it's pretty simple. Everybody wants to catch the $50 move. Okay. And that is why we trade supply and demand. Okay. So now let's kind of look at how did I actually draw these zones? Okay. What's one thing you guys notice about both of these zones that I'm drawing? Right? They are big. Okay. And we are drawing them at the wicks. Okay. You guys see, I found a wick right here. And then I carried it through, and then we ended up getting this right here. Okay, over here, same thing. Yes, once again, price is not going to be perfect, but look what we end up getting. We get a lot of wicks at this level. Okay, we get a lot of wicks. Okay, one of the key telltale signs that there is going to be a supply or demand zone is you're going to get a lot of wicking because you're going to see people that don't know how to trade supply and demand. What they are going to do is they are going to try to short or long at a supply or demand. Okay, the rule of thumb is at demand. Okay, do not long or oops, do not short. I accidentally almost messed you guys up. Do not short a demand zone. Okay, and then do not long a supply zone. Okay, why is this? Because you guys see when we come down to a demand zone, okay, and this is our demand zone for this example, look what happens. Price reverses very aggressively. Okay, you don't want to get caught up in that. Okay, the reason why you're losing money is because you have a support or resistance level or anything like that. Okay, so for example, we're going to just I'm going to theoretically just put a resistance level right here. Okay. How many of you guys have done this? Okay. Price moves up. You think this is going to be a breakout, and then you end up playing calls. Okay. This happens to a lot of you, and you guys have your support and resistance levels. They're beautiful, but you're not seeing your, excuse me, supply and demand zones. Okay. So what ends up happening is price comes down, 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 and you guys think price is going to continue down, and you end up trying to short this, and you end up getting faked out. Okay. Price goes up, 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 and then what ends up happening is you guys try to long this, and price comes right back down. Okay. That's happened to probably everybody here. Okay? And then you're wondering, why does my stop loss keep getting hit? Okay. It's because of these supply and demand zones. Okay, so now we're going to kind of go into any questions here actually before I continue. Any questions so far about equilibrium, about how we got these zones, stuff like that. And then we're going to go more into depth on how to draw them.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
So, is the 4 hour time frame the best time frame to draw this in, or can you do it in other ones
Yes
too?
and no. So great question, by the way. Okay. The time frames we use, which we refer to as TF, are going to be the 1 hour and the 4 hour. Okay. This is just a rule of thumb. You can also do it on the 15 minutes sometimes. Okay. But for the most part, our supply and demand zones are always going to be on the 1 hour and the 4 hour because you see how price moves very rapidly between those zones. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Somebody pick a ticker. Somebody that wasn't active yesterday, somebody that wasn't active in the last class. Somebody pick a ticker, or I'm going to start randomly pointing at
I
people.
do NVIDIA. Do NVIDIA.
Okay. NVIDIA. Somebody said NVIDIA. Okay. So let's take a look at NVIDIA here. Okay, we're going to remove these drawings. First thing, once again, just like we do our support and resistance, we're going to find the top and we're going to find the bottom. Okay. Then what I'm looking for here on the 4 hour time frame, I'm going to get rid of these as well, just so I don't confuse you guys, is we're looking for a lot of wicking at a certain area where price is looking to grab. Okay, so if you guys see here, I'm starting on the left-hand side. I see 3 wicks here. Does everybody see that? We have 3 wicks right over here. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the top of that wick. I'm going to go all the way to the right and I'm going to draw a zone. Okay, the first mistake that people make whenever they're drawing supply or demand is they make zones that are too wide. Okay, this is a huge problem and it will go against you if you make your zones too wide. Because the question now becomes, do I make my zones like this? Do I make my zones like this? Do I make my zones like this? Okay, and there is no right answer, but I will show you how to get the perfect zones as close as you can get. Okay, whatever candlestick you started at, you want to draw the top of that. Okay, once we have the top, let's kind of analyze this candlestick here. We have the top of this candlestick. Okay, by the way, I'm talking about this candlestick over here. Okay, this big green one right here. We have the top wick right here, and then what do we also see? I see 1, 2, 3. I see 3 different wicks. Once again, we're still focused on this one. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to draw it all the way down to the body. Okay, and look what happens here. Price came, price went into that zone. Okay, and usually, do you guys see this little line right here? I'll show you how to get that line in a minute. But what we want to do is we want to get most of the prices or the most of the wicks as close to this little middle line as we can. Okay, so you guys see right here we touched, right here we touched, right here we touched, right here, right here, right here, right here, right here. Okay, and then if we go to the right hand side, you guys will see, okay, we touched exactly the top of that, and then we kind of wicked up a little, which this one is just going to be an outlier for us, so we don't really care. Okay, so that's what we have so far. So now this, okay, can somebody tell me, is this a supply or a demand zone?
Apply
Okay, why is it a supply zone?
because it's resisting off that top right there.
Okay, yes. So this is a supply zone, or this you can say is our resistance for right now. Okay, so now we know, okay? And once again, what's a tail sign that this is a supply or demand instead of a support or resistance? Well, let's take a look at what price did here. Price came up here, sold off very aggressively. Price came up here, sold off very aggressively. Price came up here, sold off very aggressively. You guys see how much price sells off every time it goes to that level? Okay? This is not a support resistance level. This will not be happening at those little levels. This only happens at big, big, big levels. Okay? So now we've established and we've confirmed, okay, our confirmation that this is a supply zone. Now let's go and find our demand zone. Okay? I'm going to draw something and you guys tell me if it's right or wrong. Okay? Is this a demand zone? Yes or no?
I think no,
Okay, why?
because the red candle right there on the big the one with the big wick
On the left or the right?
is draw from there on the right.
Okay, so you're saying this right here.
Oh, on the left, on the left side right here.
Okay, this right here.
Yep, the longer wick. I
Okay,
think.
so technically, this could be a demand zone. Okay, but here's the problem. I only wicked 2 times. You guys see this? I wicked 2 times, and what's another thing? This zone is too wide. Once again. Okay, zone is too wide. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to delete that, and slowly going to go back up. Okay. Okay, I see 2 wicks right here. Okay, I'm going to grab the bottom of the wick, I'm going to grab the top, and I'm going to extend this all the way to the left. Okay, is this a supply or demand zone?
No,
Okay, why not?
too wide in the middle. No touch,
Okay,
technically.
so there's no touchdown here. Okay, but once again, we have to confirm, right, Prog? We have to confirm is this a supply or demand zone? Well,
Yes.
we see how aggressively price pushed up here. We see how it wicked down here and price pushed up. Okay, we see here we have a little bounce and then we have another big bounce. Okay, so for me, this would be a demand zone. Okay, it might not be the strongest because once again, like Parag said, there isn't anything here in the middle. Okay, but once again, price action is random. Okay, so but we can confirm that we're getting big movement off of the zone. Okay, now we have to look in the middle. Okay, there can be multiple supply or demand zones. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in the middle. Okay, can this be a zone? Okay, I want to confirm now. Okay, is this going to be a zone? I'm going to query all my price action over, and I'm slowly going to go up and see, okay, where is price holding extremely, extremely well? Okay,
Mm,
once again,
maybe.
can this be a zone?
Yes.
Okay, this can be a zone. Yes, it can. Okay, and the reason it can be a zone is we're on the 4 hour, so we're on a huge time frame. Okay, we're getting price to reverse off of this zone once again. Okay, and I can try to draw another one if I want. Okay, but what you don't want to do is you don't want to start drawing these like they are candies. Okay, you don't want to start giving these out. You don't want to hand out candy to everybody. Okay, and what I mean by that is you don't want to draw your support and resistance and your supply and demand and mismatch and confuse them. Okay, so for this example, I'm just going to say, okay, these three are my supply and demand zones. Now I'm going to go in and make my actual levels. Okay, so once again, I just drew these levels out. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the 1 hour. Okay, and we have to refine our zones. Okay, we always want to refine and see, okay, can we get better touches? Okay, can I make the zone any smaller? Okay, can I make the zone smaller? Well, if I drop it down a little, this is perfect, right? Because now look at this. Okay, before we had, if you guys look up here, okay, the way I got that was up here, you guys can see there's all of this blind spot, right? Where price isn't really touching. Okay, what I can do with this zone now is I can press it and I can drop it down a little and I get just as many touches or even more touches actually by dropping it down. Okay, so we're refining our zone. I'm happy with this zone. Okay, I'm gonna move down. Okay, let's look at this zone. Okay, can I refine this one? I think I can. Oops, it's not letting me. I don't know why it's not letting me. Okay, can we make this zone any tighter? Okay, yes, we can. Once again, the reason I can make it tighter is these little wicks you guys see right here. These little wicks that you guys see. Okay? But I'm looking for a lot of wicks because I want to see, once again, buying and selling pressure coming in at those zones. Okay? So now we have our zones to work with, right? Now what we can do is we can go to the bigger time frame and we can actually go ahead and add in our channel if we have one. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add a channel here. Once again, it's not going to be perfect, but I'm going to try to get it as perfect as possible. There we go. Okay, actually, I'll probably drop this a little bit more. Okay, so now we have our channel. Okay, now let's look for entries.
Name yourself, Mrs. Tapa.
Okay, so now check this out.
I'm Tapa's wife.
Mrs. Tapa, can you mute yourself, please?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So now let's take a look. Okay, we went from, okay, maybe we would have, if we didn't have the zone right here, right? Maybe we would have caught a long or short. Okay, maybe we would have caught something, but because now I've added this zone, I can say, okay, price rejected here, price rejected here. I think when it goes back up to this zone, price will reject heavily as well. Okay, makes sense?
Sorry, Prashant, I have a question.
Yes.
What if we tilted a little bit towards the upside? Is that better, or what you did was better? I'm genuinely asking.
Okay,
Which is,
so Parag, if we look here, right, I'm guessing you're referring to this right here, correct?
yeah,
Okay,
the channel.
right. So here, the only problem I have is up here. We only have one really big touch,
Right,
right? But if I can drag this down a little,
right.
I'm getting much more touches. And for me, just as kind of a rule of thumb, I like to get as many touches as I can. Whether
Perfect.
it's
Okay.
support resistance, supply, demand, anything, the more touches for me, the better, because that level is either going to get stronger or weaker.
No, it was losing on the bottom on the right. That's why I asked you the question, because that's why I got a little bit confused. I wanted to know your thoughts on it.
Okay,
If you
gotcha.
look at the right at the bottom,
Right here?
yeah, yeah. So that's why I was like, if you tilt it upwards, is it better that way, or is it better on the top? Which one would you prefer usually?
Normally I would do this. I would make it a little bit tighter just because the amount of touches I'm getting. I'm just a
Got
big
it.
fan of trying to get as close as I can, and then I'll rebalance if needed.
Thanks.
Yep. Okay, so now we have identified demand zone means price reverses up, supply zone means price reverses down. Okay. Any questions about supply and demand zone so far? Okay, there's 25 of you here. If you guys do have a question, please do ask.
Yeah, I do have one question.
Yes.
We draw the two demand zone. It could be the supply zone if price drop, like resistance support
Yes.
to be
Yes. So his question, once again, I'm going to re-clarify, is if price goes up here, okay, does this supply zone become a demand zone? Okay. And the answer is yes. Okay. Supply can become demand, demand can become supply, just like support and resistance. We're applying the same thinking. Okay. So now let's kind of look at some price action with supply and demand. Okay. Somebody give me a ticker, somebody that hasn't spoken yet.
Amazon.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. So let's take a look at Amazon here. Okay. We're going to do this as we go. So once again, okay. Let me share my screen. Okay. Can you guys see this?
Yes.
Okay. So let's do our supply and demand zones and our top-down analysis together. Okay. So first thing, once again, is okay, what's the trend? Okay. For me, this looks like an uptrend. Once again, just by looking at it, I can't confirm. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw out the structure. Okay. So we are making higher highs, higher low, or higher highs, higher lows. So this is a uptrend. I can confirm that. Okay. So we have that confirmation. Second thing we're going to do, can we draw a channel? We probably can, but you see how flat price action is? I'm not going to draw a channel for this example. Okay. We have all of this data to work with. Okay, we're going to focus on this relevant data. We're going to find our top. we're going to find our bottom. Okay, so we've identified a range of data once again, just like yesterday. Now what we're going to do is we're going to draw out our supply and demand zones before we do our support and resistance, okay? I'm looking, okay, and I see 2 wicks right here. So I'm very interested here at this level. I'm going to try to draw this to the right. Okay, is this going to be a viable level? Well, does price reverse heavily on this level? Okay, we got this bounce right here. We have this push up right here. Okay, so I'm kind of iffy on this one. Okay, let's see up here. Okay, we have this huge wick. Can I draw a zone here? Okay, technically I could, but I don't have any other touches. Okay, we only have one touch here, which is this big wick, so I'm not too interested. Okay, let's move this down a little. Let's make this a little bit tighter. Okay, can I draw a zone here? Okay, and 1, 2, 3. Yes, we can. Okay, but I want a little bit more confirmation. Okay, I'm trying to give you guys a real life example because you will face this when you're trading. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to drag this back and we're going to see previous price. Okay, what did price do at this level? Okay, well, now that thing that we just talked about, which was price before, okay, remember up here, we only had a 1 wick. Okay, we only had a 1 touch. But now, if we go back, we end up getting another big touch. Okay, we wicked on one side, which is the right side. We didn't wick over here, but look what happened. We got a big move down. Okay, which validates that this is a supply zone. Okay, so now instead of just working with this data, I'm also going to work with this data because it's validating my setup. Okay, second is, okay, what am I looking for once again? Okay, I'm looking for where price moves very aggressively. Okay, and the second place I see that is right here. You guys see how we kind of held the zone and then price reversed. Okay, once again, we can start looking for the V shapes like we talked about yesterday, but I want to see wicking at these V shapes. Okay, I see wicking right here. I'm going to draw this out all the way to the right. Okay, can we confirm that this is a supply or demand zone? Yes, once again. Why? Because we see how aggressively price pushes. We see right here we retested and then we dropped. Okay, we see here price went up, price came right back down, price came down right here, and then whenever price broke this, we rallied back up. Okay, once again, this is imbalance, this is equilibrium.
Prashant, I have a one follow-up question here.
Yes.
If we think about the NVIDIA in last prior to 15 days when it was keep rallying up,
Mhm.
we didn't have the prior price action to find the supply zone like you had there. It
Right.
was keep going up, right?
Okay.
There was no prior price history that could give me any reference point to go back to find another level that would confirm me the supply zone. In
Okay.
such case, what do we do?
Okay. I will go over that after I'm done with Amazon here. We'll take a look. Okay. And by the way, that is called price discovery. Okay. In trading, it's called price discovery, which means that a stock hit ATH or your all-time high and you don't know where price is going to keep going. Okay. And there's some tools we can use and stuff like that, which I'll show you guys in a minute. Okay. Once again, looking back to this example though, okay, where is another place that price reversed aggressively? Okay. We're not here to force setups to happen. But at the same time, I'm looking to see, okay, this is going to take us a little bit longer to kind of master. Okay, what about here? Okay, what about here? Right here, price touched, came down, okay. Price came down here, pushed right back up, okay. I'm going to draw this all the way to the left, okay. Price came right here. You guys see how price right here, I know it's a little bit harder to see, but we had a push up, we had a big push up here. Okay, so now we have the zone. I'm also going to draw this out, okay. So now we're going to draw our normal support and resistance levels. Okay, so now let's kind of play the game that we've been playing all week. Okay, you guys tell me long or short, and then you give me a reason. Okay, if you guys want a trend line, you can say trend line, but the reason I didn't put a trend line was because it's so small. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave trend line out of this. But let's just trade based off of our supply and demand zones. Okay, you guys ready? Once again, if you are new and you haven't joined the previous classes, you can yell long or short, or you can tell me to stop, or you can tell me to readjust.
Sandeep, never mind. Can you make it color? That's candle. Thank
Better?
you.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank
Okay.
I think I would go long over there.
Okay. You went to long right here?
Yep.
Okay. Somebody said long, 100 shares. Boom. Okay, we're in this trade. Okay. So once again, this would be our take profit. We would sell at this level because this was our next level, okay, of resistance. Okay. Can you explain to everybody why you wanted to long here, please?
Because it was bouncing off of that supply zone
So this is
back.
a demand zone.
I mean, yeah, demand zone.
Okay. So it bounced off. Okay. Candle closed above. Okay. You guys see how good this candle was. We have the wick at the bottom. Okay. And then we have an engulfing candle. Okay. And then our price targets, of course, is going to be this. And then ultimately it would be up here.
I got a question, right?
Yes.
Okay, so where would it be your entry though? Entry quote like so like you can't just
Right. So we're not covering entries at Milne. I think you missed a few classes. So just to kind of reiterate, so this exercise, we're not going over entries, exits, stuff like that. We're not going over actual strategies. We're trying to
Mhm.
apply supply demand
This
stuff
is
like that.
support. Okay,
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense.
So that comes in a
Thanks.
later class. Okay. But I'm having them kind of go over, okay, did you look at the candlestick? Did you look at the market structure? Did you look at the trend, stuff like that? So that's what we're trying to apply. Okay, let's keep going here. Okay, one more thing that I want to say here. Okay, he entered longs here. Okay, what's something you guys see? Does anybody see imbalance or equilibrium? Can you tell me?
And there's a big imbalance, the big red candle coming
Okay,
down.
absolutely. So this right here would be our imbalance candle. Okay, big sellers here. There weren't any buyers. And then what did we end up doing? We ended up using this like a gap and we ended up going back up, filling that gap. Okay, this is gonna be one of the easiest plays you guys are going to get. All right, so let's keep going here.
But even with the imbalances, we still need confirmation though, right?
Correct. Okay, so now we have to kind of take a look at this and say, okay, why are we chopping in this zone? Okay, and this is because market is technically balanced at this point. Okay, there's a enough buyers and there's also fair enough sellers. Okay, the big money was made right here. Okay, we're gonna keep going. You guys can say long or short.
I'm gonna show.
Not you, Melinda, the students. Melinda misses 4 classes and he's here trying to be a student now.
I would short there
Okay, why?
because we're at the supply zone and we're wicking at the top as well. It's trying to bounce back.
Zone. We're also wicking. Okay. Okay. So now, okay, this is where we kind of start saying, okay, where am I, if I short this, where am I going to sell this? Okay. We're going to sell it right here. Okay. Just because you have a supply and demand zone, you are most likely not going to play from here to back down here. Okay. Can you? Yes, absolutely. Right. With channels, we do it all the time. But most of the time, what's going to happen is this is going to be your first target, this is going to be your second target, and then ultimately this is going to be your third target. Okay. Let's see if this trade works out. Okay. Boom. And hit our target. Perfect. Okay. Now, if we let's just go here and let's, try to draw a channel. Let's try to draw a channel here. Okay, we probably draw something like what? This. Okay. So now let's kind of take a look at what happened. Okay, we have a channel. Okay, we have a channel as confirmation. We also have a supply zone. Okay, we also have wicking. Okay, and we also have a target. Okay, those are all the confirmations you need to take a trade. Okay, and that keeps us from losing money up in this chop. Okay, one more trade and then we'll go to smaller time frames. Oops, okay, I guess we're done with data. Okay, so we're done with data here. Now let's go. I'm going to start sharing my screen here. Somebody give me a ticker, somebody that hasn't spoken yet, please.
Can you do IBM?
IBM?
Yeah.
Okay. So, said IBM. Perfect. Thank you. Let me see if I can go to bigger time frame and small. Give me one sec here. Let's say we do this much data. Perfect. Okay. Okay. I'm going to share my screen here and we're going to do this together. And we're actually going, this time we're going to do supply and demand zones and everything, but we're going to trade on smaller time frame. Okay. So once again, first thing, I know this is kind of tedious, but we're going to do our top and we're going to do our bottom. Okay. Now, can you make your bottom up here? Yes, you can. Okay. But for this example, we're just going to do it down here. So we have this data to work with. Okay. Let's go ahead and make our supply and demand zones real quick. Okay, I'd like how price bounced off of here. Can I validate this point? Okay, is this better or is this better? Okay, this is better. Why? Because price rejects right here. Oops. Price rejects right here. We have a wick. Price rejects right here. Price rejects right here. We have a wick. Okay. This right here is just noise, which once again, it happens in trading, but then price moved up really fast. Okay. So I'm telling you why I'm validating this level. Okay. I also think that we can make a zone right up here. Okay. Look how I'm making the zone. Okay. You see right here, we have this wick. I'm going to make this a little bit tighter and this becomes my zone. Okay. So I'm going to drag this all the way to the right again. I'm going to drag this to the right. I think this zone, we can make it a little bit tighter. Okay. I went ahead and made it tighter. And here's another interesting thing. Sometimes you guys will see we just have a wick here and we have some wicking over here. Okay. Can we draw a zone through this wick? Okay, this is a really good question. Okay, can we draw a zone through this wick? No, not really. Okay. Okay, I see some wicking happening up here. Yeah, you guys see this wicking, right? We have two wicks right here. If we draw it across, okay, what do we get? Well, if we look at this, we get this right here, a big push up, okay, which means that there's going to be an imbalance. And then we get equilibrium right here, okay? So can I validate this? I can, because you guys see we held here, we're going right back up, okay? We had a big move up, and also we have an imbalance, okay? We have an imbalance followed by equilibrium. Okay, so this is good structure for us. Okay, now we're gonna just do our support and resistance zones. Let's do one over here. Let's do one over here. Okay, we're gonna bring some data back. We don't have data to work with over here, but just to be sure, we're going to add a zone right here, and we're going to add one right here. Okay, now let's go to a smaller time frame. Let's go to the 15-minute. Okay, because this is mostly where you guys are gonna be trading on is the 5 and the 15. Okay, now we have all of this data, but you can see that both of these become supply zones and we don't have a demand zone. Okay, whenever that happens, I will go to the 1 hour. And what we will usually do is we will come here, okay, and we will look for a demand zone. Okay, which we can see right around here. You guys can see how price, okay, price held, price pushed up, price held, price pushed up. Okay, and then you guys can see the little wicks to give us that confirmation. Okay, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to draw it all the way to the right, and also we have a wick on the right, so this just confirms it even more. Okay, so now we're going to play the game again. This time we have our supply and demand zones. I'm also going to draw one right down here. Once again, we have a lot of wicking. Okay, now we're going to go back to the 15-minute. And now let's kind of play this again. Okay, are you guys ready? Let's go. Okay, the red doesn't count once again. You have to wait for the market to open. So, okay, so market just opened here. Okay, you guys let me know what you want to do. What is this, Wednesday? No, it's Tuesday.
I have a quick question. Can
Yes,
there be one more level here because the price is like $10 apart, or no?
good question. Let's take a look. Okay, we're gonna go back to the 1 hour. Okay, can we have a level here? Okay, Prog, I want you to tell me to stop whenever you see a level.
Maybe there.
Okay, okay, so Prog wants a level right here. Okay, any other levels? Let's see. Start from up here and let's work our way down. Okay, I would place a level right here.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Okay, and I would also maybe even place a level right down here. Okay, so we're about $1 to $2 apart from levels. Okay, going back to the 15-minute now. Okay, if you had traded a support and resistance, what would have happened? Right? Remember yesterday we had talked about this. Okay, you guys yesterday were playing from here to here. You guys were playing from here back down to here, and we were losing money a lot many times. Okay, so we're going to test that theory out today with supply and demand. Once again, you can yell long or short whenever you guys are ready. Nobody wants to play support and resistance today? Okay, market closed. Market closed here, so we're gonna skip ahead.
I'm going long, man. Let's go.
Market's
Guys, come on, be active.
All right, once again, okay, market opened up here. Okay, you guys can say long or short. Anyone but Milanday.
Probably short that because we have too many weeks on that level and it's not going up.
Okay, you want to short, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, our target is going to be down here, by the way. Okay, let's see. Okay, if this was a real trade, you would have already gone stopped out. Right? Why did you lose money even though we were playing support and resistance? Okay, it's because of the bigger picture, which is the equilibrium. Okay, the reason we're losing money in between here, and I know you guys are a little bit hesitant to take trades today on support resistance because we're going over this topic, but in a real life market scenario, okay, a lot of you are going to take puts here. Okay, let's be honest, maybe 80% of you would take puts here. Okay, and you would play it down to this level, which there's nothing wrong with that until you look at the bigger time frames and you see that we are in between a demand and a supply zone. Okay, you see how market right now is priced in. Okay, it's very fair. Okay, let's keep going.
I'll do the long on there.
Okay, you want the long here.
I would long there as well.
Perfect. Okay, so three people want a long here. Why?
Demand zone, it's wicking.
Demand zone, and we're wicking. Okay.
And resist support level as well.
Okay, so our target now is going to be back up here, right? Okay, let's see if we get it right. Okay, maybe I would have gotten stopped out there. Okay, but we're still inside of that zone, so we're going to just keep this going. Okay, we're going to get out if we're outside of this zone. Okay, now, once again, if you were to trade this, right, I'm just gonna close this here. Okay, in a perfect world market where there's no pre-market and post-market, it came down here and then went right back up and hit your target. Okay, so in a real market scenario, you wouldn't have made money because it would be the next day unless you swinged. Okay, but take a look at this. Okay, we ended up losing money when we're trying to play this price action in between these two levels. Okay, but we made money technically when we played from here back up. Okay, you guys see me every single morning whenever we're doing our levels. I give you guys this analysis. Okay, and the reason we wouldn't get out here, okay, once again talking about our analysis, is when price comes down. Okay, we're not looking just like a support and resistance. What ends up happening as support and resistance to a lot of people's psychology is they say, okay, this candle closed, I'm going to short it down. Okay, you don't have enough time to think. And when you're playing with money, a lot of thinking goes out the window again, okay? But when we come down to this zone, okay? Probinday, Bimalay, whoever else was talking, look how much time we have to think about this trade. Okay, you guys see? We have a good 15 minutes, 15, 30, we have 45 minutes to think about this trade and decide when we're going to enter. Versus here, we have one 15-minute candle and you have to make your choice or it's going to go up or down. Okay, that 15 minutes, what ends up happening is we get to choose and we get to decide, does this trade make sense? Okay, it gives us time to process all of the data that's coming through our brains and flowing and say, okay, it went up to this level. Now I'm gonna watch what the candlesticks are saying. Okay, I'm gonna watch what the chart is saying. Instead of you saying, oh wow, it just rejected here, I'm going to play shorts now. Okay, and that time right there is what we need, that little window to decide if we're actually going to enter the trade or not. Okay, let's kind of keep going here. Once again, we're playing the same game. Okay, so what? Nobody wants to play support and resistance anymore?
Can we go long here?
Okay, why?
Because it's above the demand zone, and it doesn't work below that.
Okay, he wants to go long. Does anybody want to save his portfolio?
I would wait a little bit.
Okay, Bimalde said wait a little bit. Why, Bimalde?
It's wanting to come down to the demand zone.
Okay, let's look at the price action. This was yesterday's high. Okay, this is today's high. Okay, so this is today's high of day. This is yesterday's high of day. Okay, once again, we cannot forget our foundation, which is what? Candlesticks. Okay, why would you enter here? Okay, Buande, why would you enter here when you see red candlesticks and this support just broke? Okay, why would you enter there? Okay, whoever said you would wait for the demand zone, once again, we don't have time to think about this trade. Okay, it's happening way too fast. Okay, will you still be right? Maybe. Okay, but there's no structure here. How many of these trades are you going to take till you blow up your account? Okay, we're trying to systemize, okay, trading as much as possible. Okay, the same way you roll out of bed every day, the same way you make coffee, the same way you go to work, the same way you do everything in your life, we're trying to systemize trading. Okay, that does not mean we can just enter here, here, or here. Also, a lot of you guys, okay, are starting to realize these are just target levels. Okay, a lot of you guys, I haven't even heard you guys say long or short. Okay, maybe because you're aware of today's lesson, but notice how we don't even care. Okay, a lot of people aren't even saying long or short at these levels anymore because you know that this is a bigger level, right? You've put that in your head that this level, excuse me, that this level is either going to bounce or this level is either going to reject. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, one that you become a lucky duck. Okay, let's keep going. Okay. Once again, this is post market. Okay, we don't trade on the green and the red. Okay. Okay, market just opened up. Okay. Okay. Once again, you guys can say long or short whenever you guys are ready.
Short.
Wait 15 minutes.
Do you want to cancel your order or you want to keep shorting? Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and cancel your order. Okay, I'm gonna cancel it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's pay attention here. Okay. Let's break down the price action. Okay. What's happening? Okay. Buyer stepped in. Okay. But now we have a wick. Okay. Look how much time we have. Okay. These are 15-minute candles. We have 15 minutes here. We have another 15 minutes here. Okay. That gives us 30 minutes to think about this trade and decide if we're going to get in. Okay. Once again, are we above this zone? Okay. We are not above the zone yet. Okay. You guys let me know when you want to long or short. Okay. There's no right or wrong answer. You guys just let me know.
Short.
You said short? Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. He wants to short here. Can you explain to everybody why you want to short here?
Yeah, the price, excuse me, the price keeps rejecting. You can
Okay.
see like
Price is rejecting. Okay. There's a lot of wicking happening. Okay. And we're also at a supply zone.
But there's no volume, bro.
Okay. So in a realistic scenario, once again, Bimale, you would have made money on this play. Okay. One thing I do want to go over here. Okay. This is very important for you guys to listen to. Whenever we're trading a supply or demand zone, okay, once you get really good and you start learning about these zones and you start paying attention and you actually, get enough screen time, you're going to start to realize what this means right here. Okay. Once again, David said there's not a lot of volume happening here, which means that usually price will come down, it will retrace, and then it will move back up. Okay. Now, if you are a scalper or you're a day trader, honestly, on this drop, you could have made a good money. Okay. It's a $2 drop. Like, okay, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it here. You could have made some good money. Okay, so technically this would be a good trade, but because we are in our zone, the rule of thumb is you want to wait for this middle line right here before you take your trade. Okay, so let's keep going here once again.
Is there also imbalance there at the green candles?
Okay, what do you think?
Yeah, I thought there was imbalance
Once
as well.
again, he thinks that this right here is imbalance. Okay, so now let's talk about this. Okay, because this is very interesting. Price came down halfway to this imbalance. Okay, but it didn't fill all the way. Right? Now, does imbalance have to get filled every single time? No. Okay, that's the short answer is no. Okay, but because I'm gonna wait for the market to open up here just to give you this example. Okay, Bimal just pointed out this imbalance. Okay, imbalance once again. We want to see if we can sell back down, okay, and fill that imbalance and come back to that equilibrium. Okay, so let's see. Okay, let's kind of do a recap here. Okay, so equilibrium imbalance, right? Was the play there? Okay, 100%. Okay, this would have been a great play. This is something that I would have taken as well. Okay, this is a play that we call, once again, we call this play a opening drive. Okay, and you guys will learn about this in tomorrow's class. Okay, so this is called a opening drive. Opening drive just means that you're seeing selling pressure and you're trying to play this back down. Okay, because technically this acts as a gap. Now, once again, unfortunately, we ended up finding support at this same level that we did yesterday, which you guys can see, and then we ended up pushing up. Okay, but once again, let's reset. Let's get ready for a new trade. Okay, one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out here. Okay, and I'm going to show you guys something as well. Up here, we're going to draw a zone based off of this right here. Okay, and we have a level right here. So I'm drawing these for you guys as we go. Okay, you guys once again can tell me long, short, stuff like that. Okay, one thing that everybody here hasn't picked up yet. Why is this zone so thick? Okay, you see how small this zone is, you see how small this zone is. Why is this zone so thick? Okay, let's go back to a bigger time frame. Okay, remember this zone that I made. Okay, nobody called me out and said this zone is too thick. Okay, somewhere in between here, you guys should have looked at this and said, why is that zone so big? Okay, it's huge. Okay, we have to minimalize this zone to either this up here. Once again, the way I'm getting this is by us looking over here, saying wicking, wicking. Okay, or I go over here and say, okay, there's a wicking happening here. Okay, now let's go back to our 5-minute or our 15-minute chart, sorry. Okay, does this play make sense now? Okay, it absolutely does. All right, now once again, unfortunately, it didn't come down to our target, but we ended up taking the play. Okay, this right here is just nonsense on the candlesticks. Okay, we're gonna keep going here. You guys can call out anything you guys see. You guys let me know, and we'll take the trade. Okay, and once again, these zones can be wrong, they can be right. You guys let me know what you guys want to do. Okay, can somebody tell me why didn't you take a trade right here? Can somebody tell me why? It looks like it's bouncing off the demand zone. Right? Why didn't we take a trade here? Can somebody tell me?
I don't see that much wicking on the top. That's the one thing I don't like.
Okay, anything else?
There's not enough volume.
Okay, anything else? Okay, so once again, whenever we're playing a supply or demand zone, we want price. Okay, I want you guys to start using this terminology. We want price to retrace, okay, back to at least the half point. Okay, that's preferred. It doesn't have to happen exactly to the half point, but we don't want it to just bounce off the top or the bottom. We want it to really come in and we want it to kind of go in deep here. Okay, because that's usually where we're going to start seeing limit orders come in and buyers start stepping in. Okay. You guys let me know whenever you guys are ready to take a trade.
Long.
Okay, somebody said long. Okay, why?
Because we're in the zone now.
Okay, we're in the zone. Okay, here's the problem with us being in the zone. You said long. Okay, I'm just gonna buy 100. Okay, this trade might go right, it might go wrong. We'll see in a minute here. But I personally would not, because the candlesticks do not give me confirmation. Remember, if you're trading a support or resistance level, which we have this right here, okay, we have a demand zone. The whole point of a demand zone is to give you time to react. Okay, so you shouldn't be taking this until it starts curling up. Okay, that's just food for thought for me. Okay,
Can I
now,
also add one thing, Mike?
yes.
Normally, what I look for, or all the people that trade support and demand, is they look for engulfing candle, right? So like I said, right, like you don't see an engulfing a green candle that engulfs the previous candle, right? So some sort of a engulfing needs to be there for a confirmation as well.
Okay.
To me, that's personally. So
Yep. So there's still selling pressure coming in here. Okay, we can see that because we have big red candles. Okay, so me taking this trade would kind of defeat the purpose. Okay. Okay, we have a little bit of buying coming in. Okay, and in a real world scenario, you would have lost money here, right? Bimalay, we just talked about this. So the reason he lost money, okay, it's not because his game plan was bad, it's because he didn't wait for confirmation. Okay, confirmation, once again, can be something as simple as a candlestick. Okay, it can be something as simple as a moving average, it can be any of those things. Okay, but for this example, once again, he didn't wait for confirmation, he just entered because he saw the zone. Okay, you will lose a lot of money not being patient in the market. Okay, a lot of you guys have great levels. You guys have great zones. Okay, a lot of you guys already know how to do supply and demand. The problem is you think that, okay, price comes back down to this level, I should buy it up. It's going to go like this. Okay, and that's not the reason why we trade. That's not the reason why we do supply and demand. Okay, if you're doing that, you might as well do support and resistance. Okay, the reason we're doing supply and demand is we want to wait to see, okay, what is price going to do? Are buyers going to step in here or are sellers going to step in? Okay, because what can happen now, because we're at this price, okay, is price can come down, we can go back up here, and then we can go lower. Okay, this is a real possibility. Okay, now once again, let's see what happens. I could be wrong. Okay, and price ended up going lower. There you go. Okay, so you see, you would have lost a lot of money here just because you weren't patient. Okay, let's keep going here. Okay, once again, market's still in that equilibrium. Okay, now we found a new equilibrium, which is back up here. Okay, this imbalance level, just check this out. Support here, support here, support here. Okay, with that being said, I'm going to add in a support level. Okay, let's keep going here. Okay, this is pre-market, this is post-market, this is pre-market here. Okay, market just opened up. Okay, after this, we're going to look at a 5-minute example. Okay, nobody wants to play support resistance, right? I'm going to go back to what Bimalai said. He saw this imbalance happen. Okay, imbalances do not need to happen the next day. Okay, look what happened. We had an imbalance over here, which Bimalai called out perfectly, and then we slowly went down and we filled the imbalance. You guys see that? Okay, so now market is back to this. Okay, but look where the big money was. Okay, big money was in the imbalance once again. Okay, once again, you guys can say long or short whenever you're ready.
Long on there.
Okay, you want to long?
Yeah.
Okay, why?
Because there is a lot of wicking
Over here or over here?
over there.
Okay, so he says there's a lot of wicking right here. He wants to go long. Our target is going to be this next resistance. Okay, and we're going to get out if it breaks below this candle right here. Okay, so once again, okay, yesterday we had done the same exact practice and we lost a lot of money. right? Why did we lose a lot of money yesterday? I told you guys, you don't have everything that you need to become a good trader. Okay? Whenever we trade support and resistance, okay, a lot of people think that price is supposed to go from here to here. Okay? In theory, in a perfect world scenario, yes, it is. Okay? But look what's working better for us. Okay? Every time we play from here down or from here up, okay, it's working better for us than us playing inside of this range. Okay? You guys remember yesterday, we ended up taking some trades, we ended up losing a lot of trades, right? Because we were trading support and resistance alone. Okay? Now what I want you guys to do, okay, is I want you guys to take plays based off of supply and demand. Okay? So we're going to finish this up. We're going to do one more trade and then we're going to jump to the 5-minute chart because that's where a lot of you are going to be taking your real world trades. Okay, market closed once again. We're going to go here till market opens. Okay, market just opened. Okay, once again, let me know what you guys want to do. Okay, can we start getting some other people to also start joining? Okay, there's a lot of you guys. I really don't want to start calling out hands. Please unmute yourself and start giving out plays. Okay, the worst thing that can happen is you're gonna be wrong and we're gonna lose a few paper trading dollars. Okay, anybody want to take any trade here? No?
Yeah, I would, I think.
Okay, what do you want to take?
Like short.
Okay, you want to short here? Okay, let's go into short. We're going to sell somewhere over here, probably. Oops. Okay, we end up losing money. Okay, what happened here? Okay, let's do a kind of like a recap. Okay, what ended up happening here, right? We got in a good entry, okay, and this will happen to you. This is a real world example, okay? We tried to play our zones, okay, and the trade went against us. Once again, there is nothing wrong with this setup, Pravindai. I think you got a great entry, okay? Perfect rejection. We have a wick at the top. Everything is perfect, but the setup didn't go our way, right? Remember what I told you guys. This is going to happen. Trading is not perfect. Okay. There will be times when you have a perfect setup, but the trade will go against you. That's inevitable. Okay. But as long as you follow your trading plan, that is okay because once again, we can reset and we can take another trade. Okay. Let's see if we get any other trades here for this day.
Prashant, in this example, I think the chart was following the prior day trend, right? At that level, it was rejecting.
You mean right here?
Yeah, on that support line, yes.
Okay. So price was above this support line, yes, right? But this level technically is stronger than this support level, for us at least.
Yeah.
Okay. The only problem here ended up being buyers stepped in, okay, and we got faked out. Which once again, this is going to happen when you're trading supply and demand, but the risk to reward that you get from here to here or from here to here is going to be much greater than you're going to get from here to here, here to here, or here to here. Okay, let's keep going here. Okay, let me know what you guys want to take whenever you guys are ready.
Buyers is stepping in.
Nothing? Okay.
Can we take a short here?
Okay, you want to take a short. Thank you. One day. Okay, let's see. Perfect. Boom. Right? Once again. Okay.
Same thing, like same thing happened to like a Microsoft Rainbow person
Yep.
like this.
Yep. Okay. And it's inevitable. Okay. Because look, we ended up taking this setup. Okay, we end up losing once again. We don't care about the losing trade. Okay, you have to be a good loser before you become a great winner. Okay, especially in trading. Okay, we ended up losing on this setup. That is okay. What we ended up doing next, once again, Bondi saw market starting to sell. He waited for the midpoint and then he said short, and we played it right back down. Okay, great trade, Bondi. Okay, so now I'm going to pull up the 5-minute chart and we are going to take trades based off of the 5-minute chart. So this is as real world example as it's going to get for you guys. Okay, what's a ticker that we trade almost every day? Somebody.
Spy, spy,
I
spy.
SPY? Okay, let's do SPY. Okay, and this is also going to go into the price discovery that somebody talked about. Give me one sec here.
Or recommend a stock rather than.
Let's do right here. Well, actually, it's not good enough data. Give me one sec here. Okay, I'm gonna go to the 1 hour here. Let me see. Okay, so okay, sharing screen here. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Okay, so here's this chart on SPY. Okay, I want to quickly talk about price discovery. So price discovery means that this is our high and we don't know any prices above this point. Okay, there's a few ways that we can kind of find the price. Okay, one of the ways is going to be your Fibonacci tool. Okay, Milne, correct me if I'm wrong, but what we do is we draw from the last high to the last low. Okay, and we can add in our Fibonacci's here and we will usually get levels. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
technically. So
so
what you're can you hear me? What you're
yes.
using is the extension of the Fibonacci tool to discover the price. So
Okay, fib extension is one way. Okay, the other way you can find price discovery is if you look at this and you say, okay, currently the stock price is 637. Okay, what are your psychological levels? Okay, psychological levels end in a 0 or a 5 usually. Okay, so if we take a look at this, current price is 637. Okay, 640. Okay, it ends in a 0. Okay, 645. Oops. Okay, 650. Okay, these are all going to be key levels. Okay, the other tool you can use, and this is a little bit more advanced, and once again, you guys will get access to this, is you can use GEX, okay, gamma exposure, to find where the next levels are. Okay, so all of those tools we can use to find where price discovery happens. Now, once again, going back to SPY here, we're going to do the same thing, and we are going to find. Okay, I know this is getting really tedious for you guys. We're going to find our high, we're going to find our low. Okay, I'm going to draw off of this wick right here as my first zone. Okay, there's no price discovery here, but it's on something like SPY where you're always having to have new price discovery. You're going to kind of have to master this. Okay, we're going to take this back here and we're going to say, okay, this zone, is this zone stronger? Okay, I really like this zone. Okay, I like this zone more than this zone. Why? Because you guys can see here, boom, boom, boom. Okay, so this is a really nice zone. Second place, okay, is going to be okay down here. Okay, once again, can I verify this zone or what zone's better, this or this? Well, I like this zone better. Why? Because we're getting more wicks off this zone. Okay, and at this point, you guys are probably asking, okay, how do I precisely find out how thick I should make my zones? Okay, remember we talked about earlier about how you should try to get as many touches inside of this as you can. The other thing is you also want to look at the ticker and you want to look at, okay, how much does this ticker move on average? Okay, something like SPY is going to move $2-3 a day. Okay, which means that your zone should not be $4 wide. Okay, that doesn't make sense. Okay, so you guys can see here, I made my zone about $1 wide, but the more practice you have with this, the better you're going to get. Okay, And then I'm going to quickly do my support and resistance levels. If you guys see any other supply or demand zones, you can tell me to add them as we go. Okay. Do you guys see any other supply or demand zones? Anyone? Okay. I think I see one right here. Okay, I'm gonna try to make this a little bit thinner. Okay, I really like this zone right here as well. Okay, so now let's go to our 5-minute chart. Okay, and this is where we're going to start applying, okay, our supply and demand, our support and resistance, and on top of that, okay, we're also going to apply a few other key features. Okay, so once again, same game. You guys can tell me long or short. I'm going to start getting a little bit more strict as we go on. Okay. Okay. Anyone? Anything? Nothing?
Long,
Can we go
long
along? Yep.
Monday.
Long right there.
Awesome. Okay. Everyone wants a long. Okay. Okay. Big whale coming in. Okay. So right here, let's kind of do a recap before we even, see how this plays out. Okay. Market opened up right around here. Okay. Wherever market opened up. Okay. This right here is going to be called your opening print. Okay, so just another, once again, I'm adding little terms as we go so you guys can write these down and get used to them because in the next few classes, they're going to start getting introduced to you, okay? This is called your opening print. That's wherever price opens up at, exactly at 9:30. Okay, we have our opening print. Price decides to push back up, okay? It finds this resistance and it comes right back down into our demand zone. Okay, now why did we say long? Because we saw an engulfing candle. Okay, we saw no volume here, and then we see a engulfing candle. Okay, our target is going to be up here. Our stop is going to be right down here. Okay, so once again, our target, which means that's where we're going to sell, our stop is going to be right down here. Okay, let's see how this plays out. Okay, technically, that would be your take profit. Okay, so we had a good trade right there. Once again, we bought down here, we ended up selling right here. Okay, one win for us. Okay, so I'm going to keep a track of that. One win. Okay, let's keep going.
Long on there
Okay, somebody said long. Okay, why?
because the good volume on that green candle, and then the other two candle have the wicking,
Okay, there's volume.
and
Okay,
and
and
it's the
we wicked over here. Okay, so we're kind of in the middle, but okay. So in this, right, real life example, we're going to target up here. Our stop loss is going to be below this 5-minute candle. Okay, so we're risking $70 to make 160, a little bit over a 1 to 2 risk reward. Let's see how this trade plays out. Wow. Great play. This was Suraj Zai, correct?
yes, Prasant.
Great play. Okay. Once again, he didn't get scared. Okay. Suraj Zai, you didn't get scared. Okay, just because we weren't here, you ended up playing the momentum back up. He ended up identifying, okay, price held. Okay, this once again, what is this called? This is our opening print. Okay, he ended up also seeing how we had structure here. He waited for that pullback and then he said long. Okay, beautiful trade. Okay, I have no complaints there.
Percent one little discussion here.
Yes.
So we were in the level of 676.49.
Okay.
What I would like to do generally is like once the 5-minute candle is closed completely above the level,
Correct.
I wait for the retracement.
Uh-huh.
Like that exactly happened there on the red candle.
Yep.
It went little down,
Right.
retracement happened. Then I would probably take the trade after that red candle.
Yep. So yes. So if whenever we work on risk management in our entries, once again, we will go deeply into this topic of, okay, how can he, and just in case anybody doesn't understand, he's saying instead of taking on this candle, he would have probably waited till down here to get a little bit more confirmation. Right? And I 100% agree with that. Okay. You guys can tell me to draw support levels, resistance levels. You guys can tell me to add a zone. You guys can tell me to do anything you want on this chart. Okay. We're going to keep going here. Okay. We have 2 wins so far. Okay. Let's keep going.
Have to add a support or line there on
Where do you want this prog? Just tell me to stop. Okay.
40 on top 640.
Here?
640.
640 right there. Okay.
You said it's psychological, right? So
Yes. Okay. So once again, prog identified. This is a psychological level. Okay. Any number that ends in 0 or a 5 at the end is going to be a psychological level.
and plus it's right in the middle of the movement,
Yes.
like of the spine, like the price movement that it does
And on
during the
top of
day.
that, we also had a wick to confirm.
Yep, and the week.
Okay. So we're going to keep going here. Thank you for that, prog.
You'd short there.
Okay, short. Okay. Once again, we're going to be realistic. Our target's going to be down here. Our stop is going to be at right above this previous high. Okay. So once again, we're not looking at risk to reward or anything like that. This is just for training purposes.
Buy.
Okay. Somebody said buy. Let's kind of recap this trade and then we'll go into the buy. Okay. So I'm going to buy. So we're at 2 wins, 1 loss. Okay. And then somebody said buy. I'm going to buy right here. But then I'm going to talk about this real quick. Okay. The problem with you trading, okay, just support resistance, okay, is it's not that it doesn't work, okay? It's just super hard to predict price on a small time frame. Okay? So it's not that you can't make money off of this once again, okay? But when we trade off a supply or demand, are we gonna have to wait longer? Yes, right? Every single day you guys come on live voice chat, you guys trade with us live every single morning. Sometimes we're there till 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Okay, which has been the case this week. Yeah, we've been having to wait a long time for setup. Right? And the reason for that is we're waiting for plays at the demand zone or the supply zone. Okay. Once again, there's nothing wrong with us waiting for a setup, but look what ends up happening, right? Is we're more likely to get faked out here in the middle than we are at the top or the bottom. Okay. Somebody said buy. Can you explain why you want to buy? Okay. Whoever said buy, please explain.
We broke that lever
Okay. So,
and we have buying pressure.
okay, David's saying we broke this level and we have buying pressure. Okay. Let's see if you're right, David. Okay, so stop loss once again is going to be at this last low. We're going to sell above here. Okay, boom, take profit hit. Once again, right? You guys are understanding market structure better now. Okay? And here's the other thing, right? You guys are understanding market structure and you guys are able to say, okay, this zone held before, this zone rejected before, this zone's stronger now. I'm going to play to the upside. Okay? There's no problem with that. Okay? There's no problem with that. Okay? But we're going to keep going here and we're going to see overall what is our win rate going to be. Okay? Trading together. Once again, this right here is post-market, so we're not going to do anything. We're going to wait. The Tesla charger. Okay. So it looks like market gapped up here. Okay. Okay. And there's our market open candle. Okay. So there's our market open candle. You guys want to add any levels, anything like that here? Anyone? Please, if you want to add levels, please do say that you want to add a level.
Percent maybe on around 644.
644, right around here?
Little down, little below.
Right here?
Yeah,
Here?
somewhere there.
Okay.
Because it was rejected
Okay.
earlier
So
there.
once again, a rejection here, bounce, 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 bounce. Okay. Once again, you guys can say buy, sell, or whatever you guys want to do. Okay. Looks like market hasn't actually opened up yet. Let's see market open right about. Okay. Market just opened up.
Put a buy.
Okay. David said buy. Okay. We're in. Stop loss is going to be at this zone. We're going to sell if it goes to up here. Ooh, David, you got stopped out. Okay. We're gonna actually wait for the next candle because the 5 minute didn't close. Okay. 5 minutes still hasn't closed. Okay, David, you're out of your position. Okay. We're at 2 wins. I think 2 losses. Am I right? Can somebody verify?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, 2 wins, 2 losses. Okay. Let me know what trade you guys want to take whenever you guys are ready.
But hold up, like David, in like, why do you say long there? Is it because you saw a demand zone? Is that why?
No, bro. There was another confirmation on the after the demand zone.
The
We
wick.
have, yeah,
Okay. David, let me ask you this, okay? So
it's a manipulation.
So David took this call because he saw a bullish candlestick and he saw that we're at a demand zone. Okay. One thing, David, that you didn't pick up once again was there's no volume here at the open. Okay.
Yeah,
Which is a sign of weakness.
yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Also, but if you look at it, the structure has totally changed on 5 minutes, right, David? Because we're basically rejecting 641 and we're creating lower high, lower low, right?
Does anybody want to take any trade here? No? Okay. One thing I'm going to point out, this candle right here. Okay. Once again, imbalanced candle. Okay. Doesn't mean anything. I'm just telling you.
Yes.
Okay. Let me know when you guys are ready to take a trade.
Can we take a short here?
Thank you. She wants to take a short. Our stop is going to be above here. We're going to sell when we get down here. Very choppy. And you got stopped out. Okay. So 3 losses. Is it 3 or 4? 2 wins. Okay. Very choppy price action.
Percent generally that put was the better choice by looking at that imbalance, right?
Yes. So A put would have been a better trade because of this imbalance, absolutely, than a call.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can go for the long on there on
You
that.
want you want to go for a long?
Yeah.
Okay. Want to go for a long. Stop loss is going to be right here. Take profit is going to be up here. Okay. 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 Another one.
Prashant, one more thing.
Yes.
The red candlestick there, right?
Here?
No, just before that engulfing candle.
Yes. This one right
So
here.
so the things is like by looking at the structure of that candlestick, we have the long wick on the top. That means
Selling pressure.
seller pressure is there, right?
Yep.
And at that point, like I get little nervous to take the trade, realizing that that candlestick shows the selling pressure.
Right.
But I mean, we have another engulfing there. Probably I would dare to take the trade on the top of that engulfing candle.
Okay. So, yes. So, a lot of people, okay, whenever you're starting, you're not going to be able to. This is called bottom ticking. Okay. This is a term we use a lot. Okay. It's called bottom ticking. Okay. Bottom ticking means that you catch like absolute down here or down here, and then you're able to play it up. Okay. Until you get really good with your psychology, it's going to be very hard here and there. Because
Okay.
everything, even to me, okay, if I'm being honest, this price action, I don't want to trade it. And if I do trade it, I 100% would have taken puts right here
Mm.
because it just makes more
Agree.
sense,
Yeah.
right? So, because of that, right, it's going to take a lot of time for you to start bottom ticking because you have to use the 1 minute and the 5 minute, okay? And that's where we kind of get into really dangerous territory, okay? So, once again, good trade. We're going to keep going here. Okay. Okay. What do we realize? Okay. Is okay. We had volume down here. We don't have a lot of volume down here or up here. Okay.
It was rejecting from that level. Most likely it will come down.
Oops. Okay. I'm just trying not to forget our entry. Okay. There we go. Let's keep going.
Sell.
Okay. Somebody said sell. Once again, stop's going to be at high of day. Take profit is going to be inside of the zone. Okay. Good play, David.
Okay, open another sell.
You want to short again?
Yeah.
Okay. David wants to short again. Stop, raise it back up here. We're going to sell at low of
Yeah,
day.
that's TP.
Okay, David, you would we're gonna keep playing this. Okay, just because the
Yeah.
candle has to close above.
It was nice play, bro.
Okay, so another profit. Okay, so once again, he shorted here. Okay, um, I personally, I would have waited till this candle right here, just for confirmation. Okay, but that's just me. Okay, you guys let me know whatever you guys want to do. Okay. Nobody wants to take anything yet? Okay, that's fine.
Okay, sell it.
David just loves selling it. Okay, once again, stop's gonna be at high, take profit is going to be at our low of day. Boom, again. Okay, so once again, okay, let me erase this real quick. Okay, beautiful, David.
Huge place, bro.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna keep going here.
Question on everyone's mind is now, since there's
Buy.
no,
You want to buy here, David?
Yeah, we have a lot of volume on buy. We are buying pressure there.
Okay, David said he wants to buy. Okay, stop is going to be right down here. Take profit is going to be up here.
Because previously we have a lot of chop price.
Yep. Okay, so Prague was saying, okay, Prague, what were you
yeah,
saying?
now there's no, we don't have nothing in the bottom right
Yeah.
now. That's why people must be confused. Like another demand or supply zone is what I mean.
Boom again. Okay, so another win again. Okay. Is David the only trader here, or do we have more traders?
Okay, I'm going to mute, bro.
Okay. Okay, and then market closed right here. Once again, we're just going to skip past all of this noise. Okay, and then we're going to do one more day here, and then we're going to end it for today. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is where market opened up. Once again, we're playing with the same levels that we had. Okay, somebody besides David, you can call out longs or shorts whenever you're ready.
Short there.
Okay, short right here. Stop's going to be up here. Take profit. Because we're so close to this zone, our take profit is going to be down here. Oh. Okay, we got stopped out again. Once again, no problem.
Short. Short.
Okay, somebody said short. Stop loss is going to be at top of this range. We're going to sell at the bottom of this range.
Be patient on the level.
Okay, so right, let me see. We're gonna get this top of the, okay. So we would have gotten taken out of the trade. Okay, the reason, okay, just like David was saying, is once we go inside of this level, you have to be patient and wait to see what price action tells you. Okay, there's all these green candles here. Why would you short here? Right? Okay, we want a little bit more confirmation. Not just, we don't want to get excited just because it goes inside of the zone because we don't know if it's going to go up or down from the zone. Okay. We want to wait to see what is price going to do once it goes in. Okay. So I'm not even interested in the trade until price goes into the zone. Once it does, then I'm very interested.
So pretty much you need to anticipate what the price is going to be that level once it gets to the zone.
Oh,
Anyone want anything? Okay, I'm gonna add another level here. And then I'm gonna add another level here. Okay. Um, Nobody wants any trades? Okay, that's fine.
buy.
I would buy.
Okay, you would buy. Okay. Stop loss down here at this middle. Take profit. First target's up here. Okay, once again, we're not worried about risk reward and stuff like that right now. We're not focused on that. We're mainly just focused on our execution on this trade. Pleasure. Woo, Pravinda, you got very lucky. Oh, spoke too soon. Oh, dang, our emotions today. Perfect.
You mean?
So, okay, another win. Oops. Let me fix this real quick. I'm trying to get back. Press one, win. Okay. Once again, I hope this kind of goes over why our entries are so important. Okay, we want to get closest to this middle line as we can. Okay, let's keep going here. Finish this day off, and then we'll close it up for today. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out here. I'm going to add another zone right up here because there is wicking up here as well. Okay. I want you guys to anticipate this. Okay, let me know when you guys are ready.
Long on there.
Okay, long. We're in long. Stop is going to be down here. Take profit. Okay, so I'm going to count that as a win again. Okay, let's tally these up. Okay. Oops. Okay, so we have, oops. So we have one win, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 wins and 3 losses. Okay, if we look at this, okay, I have another meeting to get to here. Give me one sec. But if we look at this compared to yesterday's, look how much better we did in our PNL. Okay, you guys remember yesterday we were doing horrible. Okay, so I hope that teaches you guys the power of trading with supply and demand and adding everything you guys learned. Okay. You guys are just getting started and everybody's doing so much better than when you guys started. Right? A few days ago, once again, the first day we did this together as a team exercise, everybody was losing money. Then we added channels. Then we added the support resistance zones. Okay. Yeah, and then we added candlesticks, and now we added supply and demand, and everyone's doing better. Okay, what I really want to see is I want you guys to start applying this in your live trading in the morning. Okay, we do live trading at 9 in the morning for everyone that's new here. I know we have a few people that are new, things like that. I know some of you guys joined from Messenger or Facebook, or maybe you saw my Instagram story. Okay, we have live trading from 9 to 12. Okay, we do a pre-market analysis. We look at the market, we do our zones and stuff like that. That's where you come to get your exercise. And then the more intuition you build and the more time you spend just looking at your screen, okay, we call this screen time.